Morning folks. So today I'm trying to start the Ribble Way. I'm about 2-3 miles on the outskirts of Preston in Lancashire, and I'm between there and the sea. So the idea of this particular route is I'm going sea to source. However, the sea is quite a long way that way. I'd think a good mile at least. 75 miles, and once I've got through Preston, hit Ribchester, an old Roman kind of fortlet, I would say, possibly, and then over to Clitheroe, settle. So then I start touching Yorkshire, and I end up in the Yorkshire Dales to get to the source. Today, because it's going to be mainly urban, I haven't got my tent or anything with me, because I'm in the lucky position that I can actually nip home at the end of today. On underfoot conditions, as you can imagine, it is beginning of March and we've had a lot of rain through the whole of January and February. So yeah, I'm struggling with conditions a little bit. But I've chosen a great day to come out. The sun's shining gloriously. Right, see you later. No more talking. I'll get walking. We are actually approaching the Ribble now. It kind of looks like mud flats still, but definitely is the traces of the Ribble there. This defensive, I'm not sure what you call it, it's not a wall, it's very broad what I'm walking on. And in actual fact, conditions underfoot on this are really good compared to being down there on the farmland. It seems to go on for miles all the way around, so make a nice walk in itself, other than if it was raining, because then you'd be very exposed. Now the challenge is always how to get through a field of sheep without causing a stampede. A few of them have kind of got up to see me. It looks like we're being ignored. You really get the sense of the river going upstream, so the tide's obviously coming in. So we've got the full river now on the outskirts of Preston. Now we're crossing over from the south side to the north side. That was the sign I was expecting to see. First one. And obviously going in the opposite direction to what I am. Nice old bridge there. You can tell the water's pretty high too. We're going in this direction. Generally we're going west to east and south to north. I love the fact that this wall is also made of glass. It would be quite oppressive otherwise, I guess. Well, it's not technically the way I should be going, but I do enjoy a good park. We're at the start of the Preston Guild Wheel 2012 walk, which looks like it might be 21 miles. Well, like over there in the distance, they've done a G. This guy looks like he's whilst camping almost. The Ribble's getting quite excited now. So we've just gone under the motorway at junction 31. We're going out this way. We're actually in Brockerhole's Nature Reserve. And it says on the blurb over here, you're on the Ribble Way, long distance walking route. So recognition at last. That's the visitor centre over there. And it's over the water. And when you get to this point, you've done about 12 miles, maybe a bit more. As you can see, we're in some woods and we're high above the Ribble, but some distance away from the Ribble. And that's going to happen quite a bit now. As we get out into the country away from Preston, we've got the challenge of the right to walk and roam, and so we won't always necessarily be on the river banks. I think in this instance we've probably got about 5 kilometres before we can touch the Ribble. And we're probably about 10 kilometres away from Ribchester, which is our ultimate goal today. There's supposed to be a path that comes through that way as well. No doubt they're building more empty warehouses. Oh, that looks like it's going to be fun. Oh, yeah, so that was fun. And the problem was getting over this, and you can see it was difficult to put any weight on it. And I am worried down here. This looks blocked off, but the problem is, by the time you get to here, you're kind of committed. And I can see other people have probably had the same problem. Oh dear. And the thing is, there actually isn't no alternative footpaths. So I've just come out of the woods there, and I thought, well, maybe if I could just follow the edge of the woods, and eventually it will come to where I'm getting to. That is a lot of solar panels. But a great day for solar power. They should be generating a ton of electricity, which hopefully mine are as well. So what I'm doing really is walking around the outskirts of this particular solar site, which has made it easier because where this is, there doesn't seem to be any of the field boundaries that were there originally. Well, once we get around the other side, we should be able to pick up a footpath, which has saved us a huge walk back. Fingers crossed. Well, apparently this is closed as well. I can see the problems, but I'm running out of options, seriously folks. Well, I wasn't able to read the notice the other side. Yeah, saying A to B, which I totally agree with and understand. But you need to come up with some alternatives. Can't believe what they've done here. They've locked me in the gate, put that there so I can't get through. What a trial and tribulation. Right, this would have been helpful. I have one of these. This one's probably better. So we were here and we was trying to go that way. And so I did sort of follow this way, but you can't get across here. That's shut as well. And they're suggesting you go all the way into Grimsby and round. I don't know if that is here now. I think it is. I'll have to check that. But as it says there, it has 1.8 kilometres in length, which is not too bad if you know about it. There's nothing like this around the other side. And as it says there, this order is operative from the 19th of August for a period of 6 months. Well, your time's up, guys. It's over 6 months. Right, need to try and work out where I am, because I think I'm past that point now. Love it when the locals get involved and you get the hand-painted signs. There is no doubt it's this way. Well, this is awkward. That's kind of not broad enough and not low enough. It's bad enough I'm having to stand in the mud. And now, I've just got to be careful, don't get me. Looks like in the mud as well. This is very awkward. Oh. Well, that was a design failure. Can't recommend it. Yep, we can see the Ribble again. And in the distance there we have Pendle Hill. I'm coming into Ribchester now. Museum over there. Obviously not a lot to see now. But I feel compelled to go up the steps. Good morning, folks. So we just left Ribchester and we're heading over to Clitheroe today, which is a kind of between 10 and 12 miles, depending where I finish exactly. Ribchester, as you saw, was a Roman establishment. It was one of the few places that you could ford the River Ribble. Okay, I'm slightly confused by this. It says bank erosion, follow the marked Ribble Way path. Now, according to my map, the Ribble Way path actually does go along there, but it says there's bank erosion, so I assume we're going up here. Okay, I think I did the right thing. Well, it must be at least 6 feet down there, and it's obvious that the river gets as high as up here as well. I am always fascinated by this bridge. It's quite an expensive bridge to be put across, and I very rarely see people walking over it. Well, I've always wondered what it's called, so Dinkley Bridge. Let's go and have a close look. This is not the way of the Ribble Way. But my curiosity has got the better of me today. I've passed it many times, but I've had no reason to go over. Had a bit of dilemma. So the route on Hiker app showed going forward 300 meters along the edge, but then when I checked, the official route goes into Hurst Green on this road that you see I'm on now, and then virtually straight back again, just that 300 meters further along. And so going the official route adds a mile, 1.5 kilometers, and as it happens, uphill as well. And I was like, oh, I can understand someone doing it, but looking at how many fields are in the way, and I've seen some of the fields as I've been walking along, I'm sure they would have had to scramble over some barbed wire fences. So didn't fancy that today. I'm enjoying walking along here as well, and I get to see one of the villages, Hurst Green. Well, a very small amount of it, because as soon as you hit the outskirts of the village, you sort of immediately kind of start walking back towards the Ribble. Whew. Right, see you in a bit. Apparently the pub here serves brilliant beers and has gorgeous bedrooms. Ooh. I actually think let's sneak down here. Oh, the beer garden looks pretty good too. Yeah, terrace and gardens. Fantastic views. Oh, the bus stop. Oh, that's quite an impressive bookcase. Browse, borrow and swap. Happy reading. Well, I had my dilemma about was it worth coming up this way, and I think I'm very convinced of that. So if I had have taken that route, this is where I would have come out, and as you can see, and in fact there's a sign up there saying footpath closed and barbed wire and everything else. So yeah, I'm quite happy I came the correct way round. And one of the things I'm intrigued by is when you look at the floor, it's almost like kind of artificial grass. And here for some reason there is a blue line. I like the look of this bench, kind of eloquent. Well, you don't have to convince me. Happy the footpath's this way. Oh, I crikey. Oh. Yeah, that was quite a heavy weight. So you can see how two rivers become one. So in the distance on the right hand side is the River Calder, and obviously we're going to continue to follow the River Ribble, but it's not too long before we find another river joining the River Ribble. One thing I have to say now is that I've been walking for some while and the footpath's very good, very enjoyable this part, very much in the countryside and following a flat easy footpath for quite some miles. So the river splits down here, so on the left we've got the River Hodder and straight ahead is the Ribble. And then we have this challenge. I love the extra drawn on. You shall not pass. But this one I understand better. So that's the normal route through the grounds of the farm. But essentially I think it's just taking you around here. Just to avoid going through the grounds. Which I totally understand and agree with. It appears I'm doing the Tolkien Trail now. And the signs are pretty good too. And if you've already done the trail, that's the Tolkien Trail, I'd be interested in your thoughts. So that's the old bridge going over the River Hodder, and apparently I'm stood on the new bridge, and we're back to the River Ribble now, and we're going down and crossing, heading that way, hopefully. So we have some more iron rings, and on this occasion there is one on the other side. And apparently there was a defensive purpose. So iron chains were put across there in World War II by the Home Guard with the idea of stopping, obviously, enemy approaching. Say stopping, probably mean delay. Right, somehow we've got to nip through the gardens of this pub. Well, I said through the gardens, but not that lucky. That's always useful when you see some ramblers coming in the opposite direction. Gives you an idea where to aim in terms of the field. So you can see the bridge over there crossing the Ribble, and there's the pub. On top of the hill we have Mitten Hull, which was actually built in 1380, and the church also looks medieval as well. So we can see that the Ribble has shrunk a little bit. Certainly not the volume there than when the Hodder and the Calder had joined it. And we're on the outskirts of Clitheroe now. Seen so many dogs. So this is Edisford Bridge. And in fact, I'm going to zoom in over there because you can see the two styles of how the bridge was built. Yes, if you look over there, on the right hand side you can see that's got stone gables, whereas the other side hasn't. Going to leave you now here at Edisford Bridge. I'm very close to Clitheroe, just a mile down the road to get to the station. Looking forward to tomorrow maybe. I think it's going to rain a lot tomorrow, the next couple of days. But can't complain too much because I've had great sunshine as well. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.